Jeff Weaver, who is basically Bernie Sanders' like owl. He's Bernie Sanders' top advisor, closest confidant. A lot of people think he's bad for the progressive movement. Thinks he didn't run Bernie's campaign well. I've reported in the past a lot of Bernie campaign people that were on the campaign in 2016 said, not a chance in hell I'm working on the 2020 campaign if he's running it again. So a lot of people don't like him. But he just kind of said to Politico, hey, you know what? The progressive Democrats in the House have basically been on their best behavior since Biden got into office. They've stood by him. They have not fought him. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, we've been on our best behavior. And what have we gotten for it? With the blessing of the Democratic Party, super PAC assaults on our progressive candidates. So, if they're going to continue up with that, we might have to change the temperature. And he actually threatened that progressive candidates could just skip the primaries and run as independent, as a spoiler.
It's not the worst idea in the world. I mean, again, it's probably one that he will not push for legitimately.
Right.
Anyway.
I don't actually think they would do it, but it's better. I would say better than nothing, but I never thought they would actually threaten it. But to me, if the progressives, and I'm talking about Bernie, the squad, what are you getting for your loyalty to Joe Biden? You're not getting any policy. You have the core things he ran on: $15 minimum wage, public option. He abandoned long ago. So then, okay, if you're not going to get the policy, at the very least, you should be able to run and not be suffocated by super PACs that coordinate with the Democratic Party. Let's stop pretending that they don't coordinate. The super PACs are doing this at the behest of Pelosi, Schumer, and leadership, going against Cisneros, Nina Turner, Summer Lee, et cetera. So if you're not getting anything on policy and they're going to try and suffocate you with, Summer Lee, a local Pittsburgh race, $4.5 million against her.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
If you're not going to get anything on policy, they're not going to be loyal back to you in terms of at least not interfering, then fuck it. You should skip the primary, run as an independent, because the only way that they're going to actually take you seriously if there is a threat to them staying in power.
It's true. The same is true for anybody who plans to run for president in 24 and beyond. You can't. They only react. They only take action if they have to. If they have no reason to, if they think that, well, you're just eventually gonna, my good friend Joe, and I'm gonna go back in the party. The best night of Bernie Sanders' 2 presidential runs was when he did the debate in Miami after he won the Michigan primary. He literally boxed Hillary into such a corner that I thought she was going to quit. And he did everything in that debate to show why he was the best candidate to be president. Now, of course, the rampant cheating went to a whole new level after that primary because they knew they didn't have any other choice. They had to start doing that stuff. And obviously we know what happened. But if that Bernie that had ran, if everybody who has not seen or doesn't fully remember Bernie's debate with Hillary at the Miami debate right after the Michigan primary, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. Watch the highlights. I'm sure several channels have a lot of it up. That was the Bernie that needed to run unequivocally in 20. And frankly, that's the way all candidates need to run. You basically, you could do it diplomatically and politely, but when you are addressing your opponent, you have to be, we need exit polling everywhere. Agreed, Kelly. That was a huge thing as well in 2016. And of course, you cannot be afraid to tell the voting public that, listen, I've got a lot of great ideas and I'll do much better than your current representative who has really crappy ideas. And here are the ones that are crappy and why they do what they do. There is no justification. And one of the things that just happened, I don't know if you've had a chance to speak with Amani Oakley, but she is a fantastic congressional candidate who's running in New Jersey's 10th district, which encompasses Seton Hall, not too far from where you are. And unfortunately, the Working Families Party, who has a history of making bad endorsements, like they did with Elizabeth Warren over Bernie Sanders in the presidential election, they just endorsed Donald Payne, who has taken over $1 million in corporate PAC money for this primary race. And they're endorsing him over Amani Oakley, who has worked on Capitol Hill, who has actually worked for the Working Families Party. I mean, that is the type of stuff. When I see that, I'm thinking, yeah, a lot of these organizations, while they may be well-intended, ultimately get co-opted by the Democratic establishment. I don't know what your thoughts are, because this literally just happened today, but it really speaks to what is still a huge roadblock in this whole process. It's tough to get union endorsements. It's even tough to get endorsements from groups like the Justice Democrats, who should have been there for Nina. Well, why are the Working Families Party endorsing a corporate Democrat of the highest order?
I can't tell you. The Working Families Party has done some pretty unfavorable things for working families, shall I say. I couldn't tell you why they do those things. But, the kind of dark secret and elephant in the room is a lot of labor unions, the rank and file are pretty damn working class and progressive, and the leaders are pretty much in bed with the Democratic Party leadership. I mean, Randy Weingarten of the teachers union is
worst of them all.
Exactly. So, it's tough to get a lot of these union endorsements because union control is so centralized at the top. I mean, for example, with John Deere, it was a big tidal wave that they changed the way elections are to make it more national, where it was just direct. People voted directly for their union leaders rather than the different way they did it, which was very favorable to keeping the union bosses in power. So it is hard to get certain union endorsements, this and that. But to tell you the truth, I don't particularly think in a lot of these races, I think endorsements are overrated at this point. I think it's more what happens behind the scenes. For example, in Cleveland, Marcia Fudge, the longtime congressperson, she didn't publicly endorse anybody, but behind the scenes, her machine was working for Chantel Brown. So it's more machine politics than like whose endorsement you get. To me, what matters most, particularly in these local elections, is what the Oregon candidate did, which is call them corrupt, have simple but aggressive messaging. And Summer Lee, again, from what I saw, she was very passionate. And, what actually benefited her more than a union endorsement was the fact that she was already in the State House. So. Yeah,
I definitely agree that there needs to be more people who are willing to step out and are willing to go for it, that are non-corporate, that already have some type of name ID. And a lot of times people are just not willing to put in the work. That doesn't mean that there aren't ones who aren't prepared. Like I said, somebody like Amani Oakley may not be elected, but she's worked on the Hill. Like, she is well-versed in it. So is Maud Herezi, who's running for Connecticut's 1st congressional district, has worked for Senator Murphy. So there is this experience factor that I think does matter. And name recognition is also huge. But like
by the way, I'm not really in favor of identity politics, but if they're going to use it, meaning the corporatists, then Summer Lee and Nina Turner, they should have came out and saying, literally, a bunch of wealthy white people, rich people are suffocating money to stop a black woman from winning in this district. Why do you think that is?
Could you imagine if it was a corporate black representative woman and it was a white guy as running as a non-corporate candidate? They would have hit that over the head of every voter till the cows came home.
I would have done, if I was Nina, I would have done a video directly to Democratic Majority for Israel saying, I'm a friend of Israel. Why are a bunch of wealthy white people attached with this super PAC trying to stop a strong black woman in this district? It would have got media attention. Might have, you gotta fight fire with fire.
Yes. We do.
So.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.